to start by opening the application. It says KA.
And then, so if you go to KA here, it goes to the settings, so you can change all your units. You can change it to degree C. Size, you can change it to nanometers. Viscosity, we'll leave it Pascal second. Zeta potential and power, you can change to millivolts and milliwatt. And then if you go down further, the raw data export is like raw chain of numbers, and this is for if you want to develop your own algorithm, but we'll leave that unchecked. Show additional information in measurements, you can do that if you want to show like who is the user or the method you use. I usually leave that unchecked too.
Okay.
The important thing is I always check this autosave every minute.
Okay.
Yeah. And then when you measure proteins, you can use the protein mode, but since we're going to measure polymers now, we just leave it unchecked.
Okay.
And then if you go to solvents, so solvents will show you the library of solvents that already comes with the software. Whatever you see checked here, that means you can use it to measure size, zeta potential, and molecular mass. So those that are not checked, like for example here, Galden, you cannot measure zeta potential. But you can, if you click add here, you can add your own library of materials. You just need to key in the temperature, refractive index, viscosity, and the other values shown there. So you can remove that. Just want to show you how to add on. And the same thing for materials. So you can add your own materials here. And then methods. This is where you can save your own standard routine methods already, so you don't have to key in every time the parameters. And then for calculators, this is for measuring zeta potential. Mostly useful for when you're trying to measure zeta potential of particles in solvents. So you need to calculate the Debye factor. So you come here to get the calculation, and then you use that number to key into the run later. And then security and audit trail, we can skip it. It's for FDA. Then instrument, this tells you the serial number of the instrument and the module itself. If you connect to an auto titrator, it will show up here too. So we don't have to play with that much. And for reporting, so there's standard report templates already saved in the software, but you can also come here and add and create your own report template, and key whatever, display whatever information you want to show in there. And then for about, if there ever comes an error message, you can create a diagnostic package and send it to us, our service. I can handle it. If you click show manual, it's a PDF version of the manual, always in the software. You don't click exit, because if you click exit, you will exit the whole software. Just go back and click the KA icon. 1 ml, so which would be about this height, actually about this height, but actually if you open the lid, you'll see that there's a guide here, like minimum and maximum volume.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
you can kind of like compare it.
But
Okay, so we're gonna do polystyrene 10 megs per mil. And then
cap here. So the cap doesn't like close completely, just like
just rest on there.
yeah. So just take extra caution when inserting into the.
Okay.
Fine. Yeah.
So wipe it off the chem light.
Can open the lid. Take off the thermal cap. So with the logo facing you, is a good practice. Just have it, and then. Yep. Okay, and then you can push it all the way down from, you can press from the top with just one finger and make sure it goes all the way down. Yep, that's fine.
And then you put
And
this
then
back
you
on.
can do this. Yep.
And just make sure you hear the click.
I think what happened was that when she put this on, this got moved a little bit, like this, and then when you put the black thing, it pressed down on the wrong pressure points, and then that's what we think happened, was that it broke. It's $200 each.
You break it, you buy it.
We'll be sending a mail to your parents.
Up. You see the transmittance, that's how much laser is going through the cuvette. So that actually tells you how concentrated or how turbid your sample is. So it's like, you know, almost what, 89%, 90%.
So is that around where you want it to be?
No, that's a good value.
Okay.
Good transmittance is somewhere between 5 to 98%. So it's a huge range. So this actually is useful when you're trying to get to a certain dilution consistently. So you can use that value and then press start. Yeah, size by intensity and volume do complement each other. Like for example, in this case, it helps you look at it. Oh, there's big stuff in there, and then if you change it, then you don't see that. But you still see a tail here.
Yeah.
It's not perfectly symmetrical, so you have like a little bit of polydispersity,
Right.
as shown here, 20%. So anything greater than 10%, it's polydispersed. So monodispersed we consider like 10% and under.
Okay.
Yeah.
Should we go to number, or is that not?
Yeah, you can go to number.
Number, see what-
If you compare results by SEM, then it's useful to go to number. But other than that, people either use this volume.
So what's the size of this?
So the size at the peak, if you go by, let's go by volume. It's about 7.64
nanometers.
Yeah. So you go back to the main screen. So to look at the report, you check the box and then go to report here. And then you can go to standard report. And then it will show you all the information.
Oh, cool.
And then you can print as PDF or print to the printer. So there's a lot of information on there. So you can, like, if you create a custom template, you can, you know, just cancel out whatever you don't want to be shown. Like for example, here you're only seeing size by intensity. You don't see size by volume. So you can go back and create a template that shows both intensity and volume.
Okay.
Yeah. Should be fine.
So you just pull it out. Okay.
Yep.
Oh, okay. I don't know if
We
it
can
like
wipe that part of the keyboard.
that. And then should that be wiped down every time after every time?
No, as long as you don't see any droplets, but here we see a droplet that we just.
Oh. Okay, once you're done with your sample, to clean it, you're going to take the same solvent that you use to dissolve your material and rinse it out into a waste beaker. So you can dump out the original, and then you're going to want to take a glass pipette and make sure not to touch the sides because it can scratch really easily, but just take the same solvent, so in this case we're doing toluene, and rinse out the inside of the cuvette. And then you want to do this like 3 times, and it should be good. So after you're done washing out the cuvette with the solvent, we're going to dry it with the nitrogen tank. You're just going to point the applicator into the cuvette, and nitrogen should come out. And you can get the inside and the outside.